Hi, welcome to the 10-Minute Parent. My name is Pastor Don Boldt, and I'll be your teacher for the next 5 to 10 minutes. And we're going to be talking about a thing that I call the minute rule. And the minute rule just deals with your child and your responsibility as a parent to be overseeing the behavior of your child. That child is not yet at a place where they can be completely responsible for the behavior. That's what makes them a child. At least makes them a young child in your home and puts them under your authority, because God wants you to teach them something called responsibility. For those of you that are listening to this in Ukrainian, this may be a little different concept, but I'm going to talk to my American audience here for a minute and just say, in America we have placed this real high value on something called independence. And I want to just talk about that for a minute as we move into this teaching. First of all, buckle your seatbelts, get out your concordances, okay, and let's take a look in here and find out that the word independence isn't even in here, okay? So I'm guessing that if it was something that God really placed a real high value on, He probably would have put it in the Bible for us so we'd have some instruction about how to teach our children to be independent. And so I want to just get that word out of our vocabulary a little bit. I think what we're saying when we say we're trying to teach our child to be independent is we're trying to teach them to be responsible. However, teaching somebody to be independent almost sounds like we're teaching them to rebel against us, which, quite frankly, sometimes we do exactly that. We teach our children to rebel against us by kind of pushing them away and encouraging them to be independent, not to need us. Well, that isn't what we're looking for. We're looking for them to grow to the place where they have enough strength of character where they can do the things that we would have trained them up to do on their own without us having to be there every minute to enforce it. So this brings us to what I call the minute rule. All right. How many minutes can your child go without you having to intervene? All right, how long does it take them before they get in trouble? All right, you may start off with a 0-minute child. In other words, if you take your eyes off them, they're going to be doing something you don't want them to do. All right, that's what we call a 0-minute child. All right, you're trying to bring them to the place where at 18 years old, you can give them a hug, send them off to college as a 24-hour day, 7-day-a-week responsible individual. All right, long distance between 0-minute child and this person that we're sending off to college. If you haven't noticed, a lot of people are sending their kids off to college far from being the responsible people that they had hoped for. And in very fact, what they're looking for is, man, I just can't wait to get out from under my parents' authority so I can do whatever I wanted to do. And it's like, well, wait a minute, how are we as parents going to train them to want to do the things that are right? Sometimes we haven't been that effective at that, and so back to the minute rule. What do we do? Well, I don't want to be supervising this child every minute of every day for the rest of their life, and so I'm going to start to instill in this child things that will help them to control their own behavior and to be responsible. In other words, responsible in the sense that they can respond well to the leadership that I'm giving to them. And so it may be something as simple as setting for them little goals, all right? So, okay, I'm going to go, put this laundry away, and this is what I want you to do, while I do that. You walk away, and you're going to be gone for all of 30 seconds, maybe a whole minute to do this. You come back and see whether or not they've done this. If they've done what you asked them to do, you're going to reward that. Maybe just by saying, wonderful, that's great, I really appreciate that you did what I asked you to do. If they didn't, well, again, we have to, punish that. But then what are we going to do? We're going to go back to, again, trying to get them from a 0-minute child to a 1-minute child. All right, and then with the idea that eventually we can have this child to the place where they can be released for periods of time. But now this is what becomes incumbent upon us now. All right, so whether it's in your own home or whether you're out at somebody else's place or in a public place, how often do you check on your child? All right, this is something where, again, some of this goes back to my Teen Challenge background, but I used to tell the staff, look, if your information about what somebody in the program is doing is more than 20 minutes old, you're not doing your job. Now, as a parent, I would say with young children, that's probably true. If you haven't checked on your child in 5-10 minutes and they're a 2-minute child, they may have gotten in trouble more often than you'll ever catch. And that's not your goal, because they'll never learn responsibility. But two things we've learned so far. One is that you have to know how much time your child can spend before they need you to intervene and make sure that they're still on track. And the second thing is that we need to make sure that we're always giving this challenge to keep moving them to this place where they're exercising more responsibility. All right, some little guidelines here. You need to make your expectations clear to your children. All right, if they're confused with what you want, pretty hard for them to deliver what you want. Again, if you've ever worked somewhere and you had a boss that never really made it clear what they expected, but then they're always mad at you because you didn't do what they expected even though they hadn't communicated, and that becomes confusing. It's hard for you to be responsible because they haven't given you the standard to respond to. So what I want to encourage you is make sure that you're being very clear with your children. Again, the refrigerator, we put the little things up on the wall, that just say, these are the things that, that we're learning together right now. And make sure that the children have the opportunity to come into showing this responsibility, rewarding things. When do you get to do your first sleepover at Grandma and Grandpa's house? By the way, I'm not real big on sleepovers other places with young children, but so they're going to spend some time with a relative. We're going to go somewhere, and they're going to have more fun if they can be released, to go do something. Well, you need to show me that you can handle that responsibility, so that when we get to the park, I can release you to go and do that. And, with that, I think you're going to find yourself raising much more responsible children. Again, if I haven't told you already, this is a lot of hard work for you as a parent. But what I will tell you is that if you do a good job leading up to their teen years, when they hit their teen years, believe it or not, it actually gets easier. I'm not saying that the emotional stress gets that much less because now you have a new set of things to deal with. But as far as the actual work of it itself, if you've taught them to be responsible as children, when they hit their teens and onward, it gets to be a much more pleasant job than it ever would have been without this. So keep in mind that little thing, the minute rule, and God bless you, and we'll see you again on the 10-Minute Parent.